Hi, everyone. We've been talking lately about stress and health. And let me tell you a little story which will illustrate how stressful life can be sometimes and the possible ways to deal with it. A couple of years ago, my son and daughter in law went to Italy for a family wedding. And I was asked to watch my four grandchildren at their home. I was 77 at the time. And I went there, and one morning I got the kids up, I got them dressed, gave them breakfast, put one of my grandsons on the bus to school, and took the other three, two grandsons and a granddaughter, to daycare about a half an hour from their home, using my daughter-in-law's car with the car seats. I packed them each a lunch. When I got back to the house, it was half an hour later. About an hour later, the phone rang, and the director of the daycare said that I had packed one of the kids a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and that they don't allow peanut butter at the daycare. So that meant one of the kids didn't have lunch. So I said, well, find something in the refrigerator, and piece of pizza, and anything. And Cora, my granddaughter, would eat it. I know they could not do this. It wasn't legal, apparently, to feed kids out of the refrigerator. Don't ask me why. I said, well, you know what? Then take part of the sandwiches from the twins, my grandsons, and give it to Cora. No, we can't do that. We can't take food from one kid to give to another. Okay, now what? Now remember, I tell you, in health, you always have to appraise the situation. That comes first. Cognitive appraisal. That's the primary beginning part of handling stress. Okay, what can I do? All right, I'll get in my car, I'll go to Wawa, I'll get a turkey sandwich and take it to the daycare, which I did. On the way back from the daycare, I got a flat tire on the Westchester Pike. Cognitive appraisal, now what? Okay, what do I do? I could stand here and scream and yell, which is an emotional reaction to problem solving, or I can figure this out in what we call, problem solving, problem focused solution. I had a brand new Subaru at the time, and it had an SOS button on the ceiling. They'll come help me. That's what I paid all this money for this car. I pushed it, it didn't work. Okay, plan B, plan C. I have a backup AAA. I take the car, I find a safe way. I think it was Safe Right, ShopRite, that's what it was. ShopRite grocery store, shopping center. Pulled in there, called AAA, my backup. They said they'd be out in an hour. An hour passed, they did not show up. I called, they'll be here. Another hour, I called back. They sent the repair truck, to the wrong ShopRite shopping center. They sent it to Phoenixville when I was in Westchester. Now it's getting to be close to 5 o'clock, and I have to pick the kids up at daycare, and they don't like when you're late, and they don't have anything to do with them if you're late. So now I'm here, the wrong car, flat tire. Okay, now I'll give you a second to think about what would you do next. You got to get my daughter-in-law's car, which is 20 minutes away. Then you have to drive a half an hour to the daycare center and get the kids. So what's the solution? Scream and yell, cry, carry on? Okay. I called Uber and got Uber to take me back to my son's house. I got in my daughter-in-law's car. I went and got the kids, brought them home, left my car at ShopRite, and just figured, this is too much stress for today. I'll just worry about this tomorrow. Which basically is what I did. So my point to you is that in any situation, you can carry on, you can scream, you can yell, but it's not going to solve the problem. So what you have to do is take a breath, problem solve the best way you can. Now, so what you have is the cognitive appraisal of a situation. Okay? And then you have, is this harmful? How do I get, is this harmful or is this harmless? What's the degree? What are my options? Okay, and then you have to make a choice of what you're going to do. Now, the one thing I want to emphasize to you is that all you have ever in life is the here and now about these kinds of situations. You can't get into, why did my tire go flat? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? You know, if a child spills juice and the mother says, how could you be so careless? Why did you do that? That's just not relevant. What's the solution to this? You know, get a paper towel. Do whatever you have to do. But how many times in your life do you go over and over and over these things emotionally? Okay? A lot of stuff happens in life, and all you have to say to yourself is, what now? What do I do now? How do I handle this the best way now? Okay? You're madly in love with somebody. The person doesn't want to be with you. You can cry, you can scream, you can carry on, which you might do, and then you have to say, now what? I'm going to have to live my life without this person. What do I do now? Okay? Think of anything that happens to you. You fail a test. You can blame the teacher. You can blame the dog. You can do whatever you have to do, emotionally. But it's not going to solve your problem of trying to pass a test. So you have to look at things realistically, make appraisals of them, try to cut out the emotional part. Okay? A friend of mine recently was crying hysterically because her 96-year-old grandmother died. Okay? He said, this is a tragedy. It is not a tragedy. 96-year-old people die. You can look at it another way and say, well, I'm going to miss Granny, but she lived 96 years. I had her for 96 years. That's pretty great. Instead of throwing yourself in a coffin and carrying on like a lunatic because this thing happened that was predictable and part of life. So you need to look carefully at what happens in your life and how to best handle it. There's a million stressors. You lose a job. You like the job, the store closed up or whatever. What now? It's always the same question. What now? What do I do now? You can spin your wheels, but it's not going to do you any good if you go backward in time, because nothing's going to change. So it's not going to change. So this is my best advice to you, to always take a breath no matter what happens and say, now what? Now what do I do? What's my best option?